All right, I've been traveling for a couple weeks, and today I was going through my closet and thinking, what do I talk about this weekend when it comes to clothes that I've had a lot of experience with and some newcomers. And I'm actually talking about the one garment in my catalog that I've worn more than anything else ever. It is this right here. So today we are going to talk about Anoraks and what is presently probably the reigning champion in the one item that I've worn more than anything else, although that has been shifting lately. So we'll review the Upstart and a whole bunch of variants, and yeah, hopefully that this is helpful for you. So say this out loud, no sponsorships. I bought all this stuff with my own money, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to share my experience and opinions to help you buy clothing that makes you feel awesome and do the things you want to do. So, first up, this is my classic piece. I feel like I usually go in the wrong order and talk about the new one and the exciting stuff last, so I'm going to do it in the opposite direction and then kind of work my way back into history. So, here's the new one, the Upstart, if you will. This is the Weatherwool. They call it the Owl's Anorak. I think it's $675 now. Was $575, but I think the prices just went up. So you might have seen some of my other videos. I'm a huge Weatherwool fan, and I will kind of try this on and talk about some of the features in a minute. But then over here, the reigning champion is the Melanzana, which is a very, I'll call it, boutique brand based in Leadville, Colorado. I kind of identify this with like snowboard culture. It seems like a very popular thing to wear out there, and pretty much like local. A lot of locals wear it, and I would call this place a little gem. So these are still, I love both of these. I'll tell you who's winning out these days, but yeah. So let's start with Melanzana. So this is what they call the Wind Pro hoodie. I am 6 foot tall, 230. This is an XL. It fits me for the most part, although it's getting a little tight across the chest. I was given this as a Christmas gift from my mom, and I want to say 2010, 2009. So I've had this for a long time. I've probably worn it 500 times. No exaggeration. I'm going off camera, throw this on real quick. I'm gonna be hot by the end of this video. All right. So Melanzana, here we go. It is a polar fleece synthetic material, very light. This does have a tighter weave as far as polar fleece goes, so that's why they call it the Wind Pro. As you can see, XL might be on the small side. I did a lot of weightlifting the last couple of years and beefed up and probably had a few too many ice cream sandwiches while I'm at it. So what features does this have? I would call this Spartan. It's very plain, very basic, but very functional. I've worn this so many times. I've worn it part of technical layering systems. I've worn it just out casually. I've worn it to work, and I just think it's a great garment. It just fits, always fits right in all the right places. It just gets the job done. No muss, no fuss. I love the small business that's behind it. Great people. Always refuse to scale. Always refuse to offshore. Just a small shop in Colorado, so can't complain there. Pockets and stuff. One kangaroo style pocket. This is just one big pocket. I don't know what else to say. It's very what I would call easy to lose things in or lose things out of. So, I don't really put much in it except my hands. So let's talk about the construction. It's got a nice, a hood with a cinch strap. The hood is great. I've never had issues with it. I've used it quite a few times. You can cinch it down. Overall, just happy with the way it was built. When I first got this, my initial reaction was, particularly if you look at, I don't know how this is going to render it, how they stitch the sleeves. I really thought this single stitch kind of thing. Here's another kind of single stitch seam. I don't know what you call that, but I thought this wasn't going to last. Here we are, hundreds of wears later, and you know, all of the stitching, nothing, not a single stitch has ripped on this Melanzana. So I love this shirt, and it's gonna stay with me forever. A lot of great memories wearing this shirt. Love the color too, and they have like lots of really cool colorways. In the weight department, another thing that I do like a lot about my Melanzanas, 1 pound, 1.26 pounds. So pound and a quarter, not bad at all. So again, Melanzana, great organization, and you know, no beef. Still will wear this a lot. Another thing that's decent about these is, you know, they are fairly packable. That's one beef I have with Weatherwool. So let's take this bad boy down. First thing with Weatherwool is the weight. Let's see what she weighs here. All right, so that's 2.94 pounds, so about 3 pounds. So more than double the weight. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying if you're very weight conscious, it's wool, it's heavy duty stuff. This is the Weatherwool midweight in what they call drab, which is, I think of it as army green. I'm gonna pop this bad boy on. Also XL. All right, so a couple things right off the bat. Even though they're both XL, for my body type and my size, the Weatherwool fits a little roomier. You know, it just doesn't have that tightness. You can tell that this was designed with movement in mind, and the features are like, I would call it a cornucopia of functionality versus Melanzana. Again, they're kind of different purpose garments, but we're talking Anorak, the cut. It's amazing how versatile Anoraks are, you know, in the way that they're put together. So, you know, we talked about the sleeves on the other one. These have pretty complicated sleeves. First of all, there's a 4-inch roll here, which I was told, and I would love a verification from Weatherwool at some point, but that this can be undone and actually extend the sleeve 4 inches, and I might do that. They're just a touch short if I kind of crunch in. If I put my arms down, and can't see on camera right now, but they're fine, but they feel like an inch or two. Maybe I'll let them out sometime if I can find someone to do it. You can adjust the cuff, 3 different settings, so if you want to really cinch it down, you've got button options. Has Weatherwool's slot buttons. And, you know, overall, everything feels just pretty beefy. All the seams are well rounded over. I don't know all the terminology for this stuff, but 100% get satisfaction if I ever do anything to this. Weatherwool will do anything they can to make it right. Although honestly, if I trash it because I'm doing something crazy, I'll own it. So similar to Melanzana, we've got a hood. This hood has an adjustment in the back, so you can kind of change the geometry, and then it's got your cinch straps in the front. We've got buttons here. Again, something the Melanzana does not have are, you know, adjustable collars on the plain Anoraks that I have, although I'll show you a couple other ones. What I absolutely love, features and functionality, before we talk about pockets, are the sides. So you can actually unzip the sides and boom, like this is suddenly very wearable. You're inside, it's a little warm, you don't want to take it on, take it off, take it on, take it off. You just open the sides up and it's amazing how well this breathes. They're not quite pit zips, you know, they don't go all the way up, but just the amount of breathability that they bring to the party is amazing. So I do like that a lot because it just lets you kind of change with the conditions. Let's talk about pockets. Big winner here, and I don't know if you noticed, but we've got 2 zipper pockets, and within them there's even sub compartments. So if you have multiple little items, you can actually a sub compartment only on the left side, or left side. Right side's one big pocket. So I stick my phone in here usually. If we go kind of down into the main compartment, there's a secret pocket on the inside. So if I'm traveling or something, this could be a good spot to stick your passport or just other valuables, because it's, you know, hidden. And it's got a side entry. I would call this more secure than most pockets. Then in the main, you've got your main kangaroo pouch. And what I love, and you can kind of see it, is they've got little loops in here. So if I stick a phone in here or just some food or a hat or gloves, you can actually put them in these little rolls, and it holds it where it needs to go. And then if you really want to make it secure, the main pocket's got buttons on the sides. So overall, I mean, just from a versatility perspective, like I can take this one garment and do a ton of different things with it. And it does everything pretty well. I've worn it down into the 30s with a t-shirt underneath, hood up, hood down, dog walks, rain, snow. You know, I've worn it up into the 70s. I've worn it indoors. And two really weird use cases for this. It works great flying. I love it because, you know, when you're getting on and off the plane, it's hard to have things in your pockets, and you sit down, you put your seatbelt on, and you need your phone. Well, now I can just kind of keep everything very easily in the kangaroo. My headphones and my water bottle fit in this giant pocket. Headphones, water bottle, phone, food. That's usually how I travel with this. And if you're tired on the plane, oh man, you want to go for a glorious nap, you can actually pull this all the way down, cinch it up a little bit, and I've found that I legit sleep better on airplanes wearing this because I can pull the hood down and kind of go night-night. So it's not without its drawbacks. One last thing I'll say is you can, two other features. If you want to leave the side zips open but you're moving a lot, you can button the sides together. So that's really nice. So if you don't have that billowy kind of poncho feel, say, I don't know, and the other thing is there is an adjustment across the back. So you can tighten the back up a little bit. So, you know, if you just want to really kind of slim it down because you're maybe layering something over it, or just doing a lot of motion, or it's really, really cold and you just want to cinch it all the way in, you have that option. So again, just a couple very thoughtful features. And that's what I always think about Weatherwool. Everything's really well thought out, and it's really hard to think of improvements. And again, I can't say highly enough, the fabric is just top notch. This stuff, I've been wearing this one for better part of a year, a lot, and it's holding up really, really well. And remember, it's wool, but it feels as soft as fleece, so it's crazy. It's also odor free, like, you know, call me call me a dirtbag or whatever, but I haven't had to wash this. A couple times I just hung it out and let it air out a little bit, and we're all, you know, it's good. So anyway, Weatherwool, I do like it a lot. Packability, I think, is one area where this struggles. It's bulky. You know, this is not like a small, ultralight backpacking garment that collapses down. This is usually, for me, it's my do everything layer that comes with me, and I'm wearing it all the time. So packability is not a big issue. But just consideration. And again, it's wool, so you know, it's not like gonna squish down into nothingness, and it weighs about 3 pounds. So for an XL, this is the mid-weight, by the way, if you're wondering. So again, this, I just can't really find any faults. There was one thing I submitted a request, and that was, can you get some kind of a well, two things I had a small gripe about. One was, can you put some kind of a hanger loop on here? And the response from Weatherwool, again, like 15 minutes later, was, we don't really want to interrupt the fabric, the smooth fabric on the back, with a hook loop. And I mean, I get that. Like, that's just a small gripe. And also, I mean, I can imagine, like, Weatherwool is meant to be worn, not meant to be hung up. You kind of go that argument too. And not a big problem. I usually, because I don't want to damage it, I hang it from the hood when I'm not wearing it, and that seems fine. I don't like putting it like this on the hook because I feel like it could just wear over time, especially because I have kids and they grab stuff. The other small concern I had was when I first got it, I kept sticking my hands underneath the front pockets when I was putting it on, and that was more user error. And again, I asked about it, and the response was, we don't want to add more stitching to the front just to interrupt it, makes more potential failure points, more potential snags. They like everything to kind of be free moving, and I get that. It does totally make sense. He said, hey, feel free to throw a couple stitches in if that's a problem. I resolved it by just getting good at putting it on. So that's the Weatherwool. Let's talk about some Melanzana variants though, because I've been a fan of these guys for quite a long time, so I have no shortage of Zanas. And I just pulled my Anoraks out. I have a couple of their sweatshirts too. This one, I don't even know if they make it anymore. This is the high loft hoodie, they call it. It's a very fuzzy kind of fleece. It is cut exactly the same. They are all cut the same. Couple subtle differences. The high loft hoodie has these elastics in the wrists, which I'm gonna be honest, I hate them. I feel like they're always kind of like scratchy on my wrists, and it's such a soft garment. I wish that they somehow kind of folded them in, and a lot of times I'll do a little roll on the elastic, so you feel fuzz all the way around. It's got some extra little reinforcement in the pocket, but otherwise it's cut just like a little more elastic in the bottom. So what do I do with this one? The funny thing is, this is not windproof at all. The Wind Pro is a little windproof. The Weatherwool is a little, like, slight breeze, otherwise it breathes, which is kind of its benefit. This one is like zero. The wind will blow right through it. What do I wear this the most for? You're probably gonna laugh. It's if I'm sick and it's cold, I will usually wear this as like it's like wearing a comfort blanket. I don't know what else to say. So this one is what they call the micro grid hoodie. So it's cut again, just all the same kind of construction as the Wind Pro, but the micro grid is a thinner fleece, maybe 100 weight if they call it that still. And let's give it a quick weigh just to give you a comparison. So that was 1.25 pounds, and the micro grid weighs in at 0.76. So it's 0.5 pound lighter than that. So it also does, I've taken this one backpacking quite a few times because it, mashes down to a handful. So this has made it in my pack quite a few times when I'm doing kind of a more technical thing that needs a layering system. Again, Weatherwool is continuing to be the go-to for me for most outings, but technical layering still might be pulling some of this. The last one is, this is just another micro grid, or sorry, two more. This is really just not much more to talk about, just two different colorways. This is another Wind Pro hoodie on, gray, slate gray, and then this is a micro grid in red. That red's my favorite color, so I had to get one, of course. Challenge the Melanzana if you like them. As I said, they're not really scaling anymore, so they're hard to come by. Secondary market, they're selling above retail most of the time, especially for popular colors and sizes. So take it for what it's worth. Now for me, I still am keeping all of these because I wear them a lot. They're great just bumming around the house. They're great for different outdoor activities depending on what you're doing. But most of the time, if I'm like doing something, taking the dog for a walk, going for a hike, spending time fishing, going traveling, I've been taking the Weatherwool and just wearing a shirt underneath it, and I feel like the Weatherwool can stay on and I can do more stuff with it. More pockets, I don't have to carry another bag. I open up the zips, it's a lot, I don't have to take it on and off and on and off when I'm doing stuff. So overall, the Weatherwool for me is more versatile. I like the fit better, I like the utility, and I tend to pick it more these days. But again, there's a lot of good reasons to keep these Zanas. I love them, and you know, I'll keep putting some miles on them. So that's it for this video. I hope that you found something in here useful. And you know, who is the king of all Anoraks? I think that's really difficult to answer. If I had to get rid of everything in my whole collection and save one, it would be the Weatherwool. So I guess that means Weatherwool would be, for me, the king of all Anoraks. But with that said, thankfully, I have the ability to have more than one, so I can have the best tool for the job, depending on what I'm doing. So hope you enjoyed this video. All that stuff that you're supposed to say about subscribe and thumbs up and blah, blah, blah. Bye.